When the Northern Pacific Railroad was discontinued in 1983, they donated the badly deteriorating depot building and the right-of-way to the city of Starbuck. During the next 3 years, the local residents wondered about the future use of that building and grounds. Ideas ranged from making a restaurant out of it, or its use as a Chamber of Commerce building, or perhaps even to demolish the eyesore located in the middle of the city. In June of 1986, 3 people met in Dory Pederson's home to talk about the possibilities for the depot building. One of them was Bruce Baston, the city developer at that time. Bruce could see the importance of keeping the city attractive for inducing industry to locate in Starbuck. Then there was Blaine Pederson, a young Starbuck native, who had a great interest in preserving a bit of Starbuck history for future generations. Dory Pederson had just moved to Starbuck from Minneapolis the previous year after marrying Arne Pederson. Her interest in the railroad stemmed from her father, who was employed by a railroad out of Minneapolis. These 3 people convinced each other that a community meeting should be held to solicit other ideas and support. 37 local citizens attended the initial meeting in June of 1986. Those in attendance learned that the depot foundation was excellent, but that the roof was in terrible shape. They also learned that a 6-foot roof overhang on the south side had been removed because of boxcar clearance problems. They could also see the extensive water damage to the interior walls, ceilings, and floors. Other obvious needs included window repair and a paint job. As a result of those meetings in 1986, the Starbuck Depot Society was formed, and ideas for renovation and funding began to take place. By the summer of 1987, thanks to a $4,000 donation from the Starbuck Study Club, volunteers undertook the first major step of renovation, the repair of the roof and shingling with wood shingles. The community of Starbuck is proud of their world record Lefse, which was baked as part of their centennial celebration in 1983 on the depot grounds. They are also proud of the Starbuck Depot Square with the restored depot building and the renovation of the area surrounding it. This video is an attempt to include some railroad history to acknowledge the great community support in this project, whether by financial contributions or by countless hours of volunteer labor to see the project completed. Here is a picture of the depot as it looked back in 1983. And take a closer look at it, we can see that it needed a lot of work. The overhang on the south side here is missing. Badly in need of paint. And deteriorating. The roof was getting to be in very bad shape. Here's another view of the depot. You can see the roof again, bad shape. Paint is peeling off. At the first Lefse-dagen in 1987, the Swedish male chorus from Minneapolis were our guests. And we're just happy that they came and just look at that terrible building that we had to look at. But at least it was the beginning of our restoration. And look at all the volunteers that came to start on the roofing project. Big job. Here some of the volunteers are beginning to work on the south side and replacing the overhang which had been removed due to boxcar clearance problems. Here again is another view on the south side. Those knee braces all had to be made new, and all the extensions on the rafters and the wood shingles that you see up on top there. This is the waiting room of the depot, and you can see that the work had to be done there because of rotting floors. This is Arne Pederson. You see he's pretty well dressed. He worked during the winter months here, replacing some interior floors. He tore out the bathroom that was rotting out in the waiting room there. And he worked without heat as long as it was above 0 degrees. Yeah, the east side of the building here shows that the building really was badly in need of paint. And here you see some people at work here painting. Ark Erickson and Dave Bockel were very good about helping with the painting. Here is a crew of interior painters. You see Morris Willeen on the left there, Morris Amundsen and Earl Lundgren. There's a crew of volunteers building a deck on the south side of the depot. There are some volunteers intent on finishing that deck on the south side of the building. In the background you see a bunch of tires and tank and so on. That property belonged to the Scenic Station, the property on the south side of the tracks. Now it's part of the depot block. When rail service was discontinued in 1983 on the 90-mile line from Morris to Little Falls, almost all of the railroad tracks were also removed. However, they did leave one block of tracks by the Starbuck Depot, which includes a very unique track switch. Here you can see volunteers repairing the track, anticipating the arrival of a caboose. Some of the volunteers working on the tracks here were either presently railroad workers or former railroad workers, and they hailed from Starbuck, Glenwood, Benson, and Morris. And here is the caboose, and this is the way it looked. It needed a lot of work: siding, roofing, painting. The ends were pretty well rotted out. And you see the sign on that little tree there saying "Just Arrived." And there you see it's caboose number 99069, and looks kind of bad, doesn't it? And up on the roof there with Bob Diener, he's apparently doing a little checking on that cupola and finding out that that needs quite a bit of work too. Here the volunteers are busy replacing the siding on the caboose. And here's the completed project. You'd never know if it's the same caboose, would you? The caboose has become a favorite of the children especially. They love to spend time looking at the interior of the caboose. The depot group was accumulating more and more artifacts and also decorations for various celebrations at the depot. The decision was made to purchase the white brick building in the background there, and it is now referred to by the depot group as the storehouse. The year was 1989, and you might also note the newly laid sod in the foreground. Another view of the storehouse here. The flat roof on the building leaked very badly when we obtained it, so a new roof was built to remedy that problem. The storehouse provided more than enough storage area. The decision was made to develop several special areas to display some of the artifacts donated to the depot from old-time Starbuck. Here you see Audrey Amundsen and Jean Wilson doing some arranging in the mercantile shop. Another view here from the storehouse, the mercantile room. Here is a picture of Kathy Bucher. Looks like she's ready to wait on a customer. The lady to the right is Miss Northern Pacific, 1883. How about that? A good fist. On sale at the storehouse store. Lots of old things. Christmas specials. Hey, lutefisk, 5 cents a pound. And lingonberries, herring. How about that? Here are some hats from the millinery shop. Now, isn't that a glamorous lady? In 1990, the depot had a reunion of the famous Lefse team that you see pictured here. And there is Morris Wallin, Earl Larson, Chuck Walquist, John Gorder, Telford Jurgensen, Larry Kittleson, Morris Amundsen, and Laverne Jurgensen. Also in 1990 then, there was a dedication of a plaque commemorating the great Lefse that was baked in 1983. The inscription on that plaque reads as follows: "This 9-foot 8-inch slab represents the size of the world record Lefse baked on this site July 1st, 1983, the year of Starbuck centennial. To commemorate the area's Scandinavian heritage, the Starbuck Chamber of Commerce initiated the novel idea of baking huge Lefse. The Starbuck Lions Club accepted this challenge." And then the names of the baking team are also listed on the plaque. Here's Dory Pederson, the president of the Starbuck Depot Society at that time. A little better view of that plaque, and it's set on the base of exposed aggregate. And you notice there it says the feat is recorded in Norway's Schibsted Book of Records. Here the Starbuck Depot Society President, Dory Pederson, makes a presentation to the famous Lefse team at the 1990 reunion. On May 16th of 1992, the depot put on a grand opening after 5 years of quite intense renovation at the depot. Here you see the special newspaper edition that was put out. Some of the people standing in front of the depot here. The grand opening parade attracted a lot of people, as you can see by this picture. There's some more folks watching the big parade. now you'll see a yoke of oxen pulling a covered wagon. Ellsworth Thompson and his family rode in this wagon, depicting early pioneers coming through the area. The stagecoach made an appearance in Starbuck for this big parade in 1992 as well, for the grand opening. And there, the man sitting up on the top there, that dude is a guy named Pepper Williams from Minneapolis, wearing that black hat. Vic Vatauer is talking to two of the passengers on the stagecoach, Jim and Edie Erickson. The suitcase that they were carrying was not too securely closed, and it later accidentally opened, much to their embarrassment. Jason Branby, one of the two MCs for the day, is checking with Don Espenson, and he probably wants to see how far west Don intends to go. Here's a vintage automobile owned by Gene and Sandy Wilson. Larry Noyes drove his very old car in the parade in 1992. The depot crew was the last unit of the grand opening parade in 1992 as they rode in Arne's 1972 truck. Here we have Sandy and Gene Wilson, and they are busy watering flowers by the Starbuck Depot sign. This is a memorial plaque that was placed on the exterior depot wall in memory of Dr. Sanford Wilson and also Erwin and Verna Knudsen. Standing by the side of this plaque, we have Gene Wilson here. And Laurel Knudsen. Many visitors attend the various celebrations at the depot. Now at this event we even had some trolls and gnomes in attendance. Some of them liked Starbuck so well that they found a permanent home in Holly, Skogan. That's one that made it there. That's a guy named Trigby holding that rock. On the 4th of July Heritage Weekend, the kids really enjoy the games under the big tent by the depot. This is a scene from the annual Epleton Market Day, and you can see both vendors and buyers here along the depot boardwalk. At each of the depot open house events, one can always find some entertainment, display, souvenirs, and food. Here are the Snoo Street Singers. There you see Arne Pederson, Dory Peterson, Corinne Hoyam, Marilyn Whitney, Jerry Holton on his guitar, and then Ruth Brendan is at the piano. She's not pictured here. A frequent entertainer at the depot events is Palmer Auberg. And he is joined by Stanley Severson and Elmo Wick. And they form a group called the Norskis. Bob Diener, former Starbuck Depot agent, and Ed Butala, former Benson Depot agent, get together at depot agents in Starbuck to reminisce and to demonstrate the now obsolete telegraph. There is always an attractive variety of souvenirs for sale at the depot events. Here is Shirley Anderson waiting for another customer to appear. The major celebration at the depot is Lefsedagen, which is held around the middle of May each year, with the first one held in 1987. Many ladies volunteer their time to help serve lunches at the depot. Here we have a group ready to serve you. There's Arloa Knudsen, Anna Johnsrud, Ruthie Dalsing, Donna Espenson, Lillian Flatten. One of the most popular events at Lefsedagen is one called Roll Your Own Lefse. Here under the watchful eyes of these two ladies, there's Esther Thorelson and Dolores Danielson. You can roll out your own lefse, bake it, and eat it right there. Here is Jerry Landmark, and he's trying out his skill at baking lefse. The Epleton celebration, that translates to Apple Time, is held the last Saturday in September each year. It features a market day where vendors, as the ones you see here, line up along the depot boardwalk to sell their wares. This is kind of a scary picture here, because it's the scarecrows made by the fourth graders from the Starbuck Elementary School, and they take part in this annual scarecrow contest each year. The colorful Maypole dance is performed each year by a group of Starbuck brownies. Here we have some carolers singing around the Christmas tree at Yule Tree Leasing. That's the Christmas tree lighting, which takes place the first Saturday of December at Depot Square. Here's Doc Hammer and Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, making his annual appearance at the Yule Tree Leasing. And of course, Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus are there for their annual appearance. A group of young Minnewaska High School carolers fill the cool evening air with joyous Christmas music at the Yule Tree Leasing celebration. These youngsters still believe that Santa will fill their stockings for Christmas. Each year, following the Christmas tree lighting, a group of 40 people squeeze into the depot waiting room for Efterfest, an event featuring a great meal and entertainment. There's Jean Wilson. And Lola Rundgren serving as hostesses for this event. There's another picture showing some of the people in attendance at the Efterfest dinner. And you'll notice they all look pretty happy, having a good time. Here is another picture showing some more of the people who are in attendance at the Yule Tree Leasing Efterfest. Enjoying this evening were Dr. Sanford Wilson and Gladys Ness-Brang. Both of these people, who have recently passed away, were ardent supporters of the depot restoration, as well as numerous other community projects. Sandy Wilson, a great community leader, loved the depot project and spent countless hours there carpentering, working at open house celebrations, and lawn and grounds maintenance. Gladys Brang grew up in Starbuck and returned to Starbuck to live out her retirement years. Her generous donations, along with countless hours of donated labor by volunteers, helped transform an unsightly part of Starbuck into one of which the entire community can be proud. Service for the Starbuck community from 1883 to 1983, about 100 years. This caboose was added in 1990. We had hoped to get a Northern Pacific caboose, but they are very hard to find. We were fortunate, however, to find this 1910 vintage Sioux Line caboose. The Sioux Line does go through Glenwood and Lowry, and we are proud to have this showpiece in the Starbuck community. This is the Starbuck Area Chamber of Commerce building. It was formerly the Standard Lumberyard office, and it was completely remodeled by volunteers in 1993. It had served as an office for the lumberyard from 1907 to 1950. The building the building manager was Anton Ness, who was the father of Gladys Ness Brang, who was a great contributor to our projects. This is the building that we refer to as our storehouse. It was remodeled and fixed up in 1991. It formerly had been a fertilizer building used by the Starbuck Cooperative Creamery. As you can see, there are several display windows, one for merchandise and then one for millinery, and then the rest of the building is used for storage for many of the depot artifacts. This is the railroad motor car, just completed in 1998, and it does house the motor car, which will be on the rails here. Years ago, of course, every depot had to have its own outhouse, and here's one we have. It formerly was on the grounds by the Cyrus Depot. This bench is a memorial to my late wife, Lori Pederson. She was the president of the depot group from its beginning in 1987 until her untimely death in 1995. Although there have been many volunteers that have worked on the restoration of the depot and the grounds here, it is generally acknowledged that she was certainly the inspirational leader in seeing this work got done. I think the inscription on the bench here sums up her contribution very well. And it says, "Some people come into our lives, stay a while and quietly go. Others come, touch our hearts, and we are never the same." On this particular day, the depot group is getting ready for another open house here. So let's just take a look around and see what kind of activity is going on here today. Now that the volunteers have completed the building for the railroad car, the crew is busy putting it on the track this morning. So let's go and watch some of the action. Get somebody hanging on behind.
You want to put the brake on after downhill?
I don't think there's any problem.
Oh, I see now.
I think you're holding too hard.
We have to come up there and lift?
Oh.
Boy, that's a good run.
Can't do that, Bob.
Get Joe too.
Now, you don't have to do it like that. We're not sticking out too much here, are we, Mario? No, I hope not. Probably is. Here we go. Hands in, everybody. Here we go. Inside.
You're not going to get out yet.
Whoa! You hit something.
Push a little harder.
It was me! I better go on a diet.
Yeah, we'll have to cut those off.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, here we have Bob Diener. And Bob was the station manager here for a number of years. What year was that, Bob?
We came here in the fall of 1958, and then we went to Morris from here, and they closed the depot full-time.
Okay. There aren't too many telegraphers left around the country, Bob.
No, not too many. It's certainly a dying art.
Yeah. It's probably not used at all anymore, is it, any place? It isn't used at all anymore,
Not
is
at
it?
all.
Not at all.
Computers have taken
Will
that
paper
over, too.
toweling work?
Why don't you send a little message on the
okay.
telegraph? translate that into English?
Let's see.
What's the other
Welcome
one?
to Lefse 98.
Okay, very good. And we also have Muriel Diener with us here today. Hi, Muriel.
Hi.
Thank you. Some ladies who are busy cleaning and getting ready for the big event here. There's Lola Rundgren, Arlo Knudsen, and Helene Gandred over here. Looks pretty nice, ladies.
Working hard.
Yeah.
Please. Wipe that up. Yeah, I know. I'm wiping it again just to do something.
Here's Marilyn Staples. She's busy washing off some of the chairs. Looking good, Marilyn.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks.
And the food.
Ah, here you can see the sprinkler system in action here. Ah, this is Don Staples. He's our water
Monkey.
superintendent here. If you have any problems on here, he takes care of it. Yeah, here we got Don Bucher. He's our expert at window washing. Looking good, Don. Yeah, here's Morris Amundsen, and he is doing some trimming along the tracks here this morning. Yeah, Harold Knudsen's busy with the vacuum cleaner this morning.
Can I start up?
Sure, start her up. Here we have Gene Wilson on the left here, and Kathy Bucher, and they're busy dusting and cleaning today too. Here is Depot Lane, and we have three ladies here been busy working with flowers. There's Carol Pederson on the left, Audrey Amundsen, and Gene Wilson. Yeah, beautiful flowers. What kind are they?
Well, they're petunias, and then we always have a spike in the middle.
Very nice. This is an old pump here. What's the inscription on that, Audrey?
Newman Erickson discovered the spigot in the old barn on the residence he purchased in 1971, the late Gus Haggart home, 1941 through 1971.
Carol, our flowers are coming along pretty well, don't you think? That's great. We've had grand rain this year, and also we've had lots of good weeds this year because of the rain. So we're happy with it. So yeah.
Yeah, this is the caboose, and so let's go and take a look and see what that might look like on the inside. Now we're inside the caboose here, and as you look on the right side here, you see some benches in here. Could be used for sleeping purposes. And here you have an old-fashioned ice box. Here's a table where the agent might do some of his work. Notice the old lamp here is set on some springs because of the wobbling of the train. Here's an old-fashioned stove. You notice that it has a little ridge along here so that if they're doing any cooking or anything, pans would not slide off the stove when the train was moving along. Notice here there are some steps that lead up to the cupola up here. And up in this area then the conductor could sit and get a good view of the whole track. As it was being finished, came down to some lettering here which was left, and it says passengers not allowed in the cupola of this car. And here you can see what the cupola looks like. Some nice seats up there and a good view from quite high up. Here is a storage closet, place you could hang some of the clothing and so on. And of course every caboose had to have its own toilet, and that's what you see in here. And there you can see the ground below. Yeah, here's the Depot crew. They're having a meeting here. And having a little coffee and see what they're eating. Of course, it's got to be left.
Delicious, too.
Made by
Oh, is it?
Marilyn is singing us the dance. Just picked it up long way.
Smile, you're on camera.
It's
Wonderful.
Yeah. Miss Marilyn, ain't this?
Get one of Arne.
No, it's Linda.
Oh, I've been on before.
Arnie, get over here and get on this.
Yes,
Gotta get our leader on there.
He's gotta have. Absolutely. This is to our leader. Here's
Where's
our
your-
leader. Where's your laptop?
Missing a few people.
Very well. I think I'll be all right.
I just talked to Al Jorgensen this morning, and she will be here probably about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning to start setting up her quilt display.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know, she mentioned things that we didn't have to worry
There
about.
are kids hanging around.
I know there are a lot.
More coffee?
Oh, yes, that would be.
Bill Thompson, anybody?
Yeah.
Resident artist, and she has painted many, many beautiful signs for the depot and other places around town here. Off to the right and above, you can see the beautiful sign which says "Remember Starbuck" with the old sign of the deer and the star there. We are by the Starbuck Chamber of Commerce building. It's a property of the Depot Group, and it has been completely remodeled. And here's Shirley again, looking over the sign that she made for the Chamber building. Really beautiful. Okay, this is the Main Street side of the Chamber of Commerce, and here again it's a sign, beautiful sign painted by Shirley, and it's no wonder some people have said this is probably the nicest Chamber of Commerce office in the state of Minnesota. The Starbuck Chamber of Commerce office building, and here we have Dolores Johnson, who's the secretary of the Chamber here in Starbuck, and Vicki Basel, who's the president of the Chamber.
Hello.
Now here we can take a look at the special corner in the Chamber, and you see an old telephone on the wall there, and to its right there is an old scale. It was located behind the old lumberyard here in Starbuck, and it was cleaned up, sandblasted, and repainted again.
Oh, big tractors.
Now there's an old-fashioned stove there, typical of what is used for heat there. There's a coal bucket alongside there.
Nobody's
And up on the wall there you see a calendar from November of 1915.
I don't have any names.
And there's a roll-top desk, typical of the types of desks that might have been used in an office like this. Okay, this clock here was donated by Manly Chennis of Indianapolis. He grew up here in the Starbuck area, and his father, H. Chennis, was a watchmaker and jeweler here in Starbuck.
Yeah, probably not that. These are mementos of Starbuck, the treasured mementos.
All right.
And are you to the cookbook? Okay, the cookbook. We sold 10,000 copies of that cookbook, and the model for the little dance step was Sarah Walquist back when we did that.
The Grand Marshals for the Starbuck Heritage Weekend Parade in 1998 were Earl and Lola Rundgren. This bandwagon was bought in 1902 for the Ringling Brothers Circus and purchased by the Starbuck Bank in 1950 to be used in the Minneapolis Aquatennial. It's pulled by 6 perch-around horses from the Brainerd area. from the Minnewaska High School. Some beef sparkles, coffee and pop. Here the kids' games are in full swing under the big tent, and it looks like they're having a good time. Zoo over there, and you can see the old bandwagon on display right in front of the Chamber of Commerce building with the welcome sign right above it there. Drömmer om henne